Hello friends, my name is Gauthier. Welcome to my very first edition of my daily Walkabout, a audio only podcast that where I have an opportunity to share my thoughts on audio, whether it's in the morning or in the evening. There are times where I just like to share how I'm feeling, what's going on during the day. And I know there's a lot of you that follow me on my channels, Life on the Road with Yeshua and Truth and Testimony, and some of you that listen on Podbean. And I would say that a lot of the stuff that we say on the other channels it's quite transparent, but not nearly as transparent as it will be on this particular podcast. There are going to be opportunities where I may want to share things on this podcast that I won't want to say on a regular video. It's not that it needs to be censored in any way. Just, I guess, maybe a little bit more intimate, a little bit closer. I am currently in Arlington, Washington. It is 9 o'clock at night, and the rest area is pretty well full. There's truck drivers here filling up every spot, and there's four-wheelers. And you know what's amazing? I did not realize how many four-wheelers there are living out of their vehicles. And you see it at these rest areas. And I know this sounds crazy, but there's times where I will walk by where all the four-wheelers are, where the cars are parked. Some have regular cars, vans, some camperized. And you see people with their belongings in the back. They've got curtains or blankets blocking the windows. This is where they live. Probably because they can't afford to live in a place. I know how bad that can be. There's a reason why I don't rent a place and I live out of my truck. It's no different than what these people are doing, except I'm lucky enough and fortunate enough to have a job at the same time. It is like $2,500 for rent for an upstairs of a 2-bedroom house, if you're lucky, in the Lower Mainland, in some of the worst areas in the Lower Mainland. That is what the going rate is. It's great. It's crazy. And I see these people during this time of the year trying to make ends meet. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. And there's times where I will interact or talk with some of these people. Maybe ask them where they're from, where they've coming from, how they're doing, if they need something. I don't mind doing that. And no, I'm not trying to say, look at me, look at the wonderful things I'm doing. I'm just saying that's what I do. I think that's what all of us should do. We shouldn't just ignore it when people are in need like that. So let me tell you a little bit about this podcast, what I want to do with it. There are times at night when I'm done my day, I'll take a walk. And there's times first thing in the morning before I even start my day, I'm going to take a walk. And I will say my prayers, but then I am literally talking out loud, discussing what's going on with my day, what challenges I'm dealing with. And some people might think that's crazy, but it's not crazy because you do it too. We all do it. We all talk out loud. What's the difference if we're thinking or talking it out? I'd rather talk it out. Now, when you start to argue with yourself, then you have an issue. So I thought it would be interesting to share, obviously not very personal insights, but insight of what's going on, what I'm thinking of doing, plans I'm planning to do, crisis I'm dealing with, maybe. Some of the craziness that I'm dealing with. Like currently right now. For those of you that don't know, back in 2017, my daughter Chelsea was viciously murdered by a creep, and his trial has finally started last week. And I'm dealing with that right now. And this is when you really find yourself reaching out to the Lord. Yes, I'm a Christian, for those of you that don't know. Maybe you're tuning into this for the very first time on Podbean, Apple Podcast. Christian truck driver. Travels the highways of North America. I do my YouTube videos on YouTube, Life on the Road with Yeshua. I also host another YouTube channel. My friend Adrian Scott helps out on that channel. We provide the gospel on there, teaching programs, whatever the Lord puts on our heart. We do it because we enjoy it. And we like to be on the mic. We like to be behind the camera. Well, at least I do. I know Adrian likes to be behind the mic. He's not so keen on being behind a camera, though. So I don't plan to do this every single day, but as many days as I can. There's going to be some days I'm going to want some peace and quiet, and I just want to keep to myself. And there may be other opportunities where I'll have read something really amazing in the Bible, and I want to tell somebody about it, and I'll upload it. And I hope that you, if you're new, will subscribe to this podcast and not be afraid just because I say God, because I've actually had people on my YouTube channel take offense because I'm talking about God. I've actually had people say things about my YouTube channel that I should be keeping God out of my YouTube videos, which is insane. That's like telling somebody who invited you for dinner that they can't have a certain dessert. You walk into their house and tell them what to do. I've been doing this since day one. And God has held me so tight and so close and given me such strength through this tragedy that I've been going through over the last several years. No way am I going to abandon him because somebody's offended because I'm talking about God. Why are they so offended that I'm talking about God? Is it making them feel convicted, maybe? I don't know. I don't care if I end up with one YouTube subscriber. I'm not going to compromise my convictions and my devotion to God to make somebody happy. Because the Bible clearly tells us in the last day, many will be offended. I really don't care if people are offended that I speak about the Lord, because I am going to declare how amazing he is. Now listen clearly, you guys. 8 years ago almost, my daughter Chelsea lost her life. I don't know how on earth I'm standing right now and not sitting in a ditch somewhere with my nose in a vodka bottle somewhere, or with who knows kind of whatever drugs in my system, blaming all of this and making excuses to self-medicate myself. I've been through all that. I've been through it. I got out of it. I got to the other side. And it was through the grace of God. It was through his strength. I got through it, and I'm still getting through it. And now the trial is starting, and now it gets even worse. Without mentioning details, which I cannot, this clown, this guy that killed my daughter, is making a mockery, in so many words, out of this whole situation. He's making a joke out of it. He's not taking it serious. I don't expect people to understand this unless this has happened to you. If you had a young girl that you started raising on your own because the mother left with 2 other siblings. 3 children I raised. I changed Chelsea's diapers. I potty trained her. That little girl was with me all the time. When the other 2 kids were in school, she was with me constantly like Velcro. And for someone to take her life like that, I can't even explain what that's like. Can't explain it. I know that I keep saying to myself, where am I getting this strength from? But I know where I'm getting the strength from. I'm getting it from God. He's the one that's getting me through this. I've got a dear family member that I can call anytime. And I'm not afraid to say who it is. It's Diane, my cousin Diane. I can reach out to her anytime I want, and she will talk with me for hours if I need it. I've also got some other dear friends that are there to hear me if I need to vent. They know who they are. But I also have a lot of friends that know exactly what's going on, and I don't hear nothing from them, including family. And it really goes to show you who really does care. It's sad, but when you have less people, family and friends, than 5 fingers on one hand that you can rely on to help you through certain times, that's really sad. But I don't rely on that. I don't rely on the very few people that have showed to care for what I'm going through. I lean on God. I lean on the Lord. And there is no way anybody for any amount of money or any amount of subscribers that's going to talk me into removing him from my YouTube channel because they are offended. Not going to happen. He is my rock. He is my salvation. He is my joy. Friends, I'm actually standing here in the middle of a field at this rest area. I'm sure some people could probably see me thinking I'm nuts. I absolutely am amazed every single day how I am getting through this. Knowing more details of what's going on with my daughter's case. Knowing so many people in my address book in my phone that are aware of what's going on, but they don't bother to reach out. But you know what? You really do know who your friends and family are that care during times like this. You really do. You really do. And some friends might say, well, I really don't know what to say, so I'm rather off just leave you alone. I don't want to interfere. That's a cop-out. And if you were to message someone and say, I just want to let you know that I'm thinking of you and I'm praying for you and I hope you're doing well, that is gold to somebody going through a crisis. You don't have to say the right words. You just have to let them know you're there. But I'm not going to expect a miracle. It's never been that way for me. Through my whole life, I've always been on my own. Except the Lord has been there with me, walking with me. Walking with me. Yes, I will continue to proclaim the goodness and His wonderful works, His faithfulness, His love, His strength. And one of these days, maybe I'll have an opportunity to speak in front of a church when this whole thing is said and done and be a testimony to somebody out there that is going through something similar to what I'm dealing with and how God can get them through it too. Because it is the worst thing to have to go through. Not only should a parent never outlive their child. No parent should ever have to go through this. It is rare. I don't even think I know anybody who's had their child murdered. Certainly not in my family. None of my friends' families do I know anything about that. It's this rare. And if it's that rare, you think you would have a lot more support from your friends and your family. But it's not there. The support is not there. So I'm not looking to these people for support. I'm looking to God. And I will say this again, and I will finalize with this. If you are offended that I talk about the Lord on my YouTube channel, my trucking channel, I feel bad for you. I feel sad for you. Because the only way that this would bother somebody is if they're being convicted in their hearts because of the way they're living. And they know they shouldn't be living that way. Right? What difference does it make? Nobody is forcing anyone to listen to my YouTube videos or watch them. Maybe the Lord has led you to that video for a reason. Don't resist it. Maybe He's trying to get your attention. I'd like to think that what I'm doing out there isn't in vain. Well, that's all I got for you guys. If you are listening on Life on the Road with Yeshua, or Truth and Testimony, or Podbean, or Apple Podcast, Spotify, or any of the other podcast providers out there, please drop me a note. truckerray7 at gmail.com. That's truckerray with the number 7 at gmail.com. Let me know what you think. Say hello. Subscribe to whatever you're listening to this on, and don't miss any of the other episodes. I don't know if I'll be putting them up daily, but if I can, I will. And let me say this. My signature saying, God bless all of you in the name of Yeshua. Until next time, bye for now.